Can we just start here, which is really incredible that Beau speaks highly of you because, especially for a guy that kind of forced him out the door, he hates everybody. He's a hater.
I'm a hater.
Beau's a giant hater. The fact that he doesn't hate you just speaks volumes about your character.
A pretty good guy. Yeah, because, I was after Eagles, I was fucking dude. I can't even talk after a Vegas trip, Chris. Jesus Christ!
Okay, well, go ahead.
I have two brain cells bouncing around. But after the Super Bowl in Philly, signed a big deal in Tampa, and I'm really excited about it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be the fucking guy. And then it's like a Thursday. I remember the draft. I get off the plane because I flew home to Minneapolis, and I see Tampa Bay Buccaneers selected Vita Vea, nose guard, 11th overall. And I was just like, oh, fuck. I'm just watching his highlight tapes. I'm just like, oh, all right, nice. Had fun in Tampa. I couldn't even get my feet wet. Here we are, and I'm out of here. And then 2 years later, whew, but
now we got him on the pod.
Great guy.
So we got him on the pod. And Vita, how you doing, man? You still jet lagged, bro?
I think I'm back on time right now. I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Went to sleep normal time last night. So,
how long was that flight? 10 hours?
It was on the way back. It was 10 hours. On the way there, it was like about 9. It wasn't bad.
Makes you glad you get the win on the way back.
Vita was doing high knees on the aisle, just knocking the plane around on the way out there.
Low turbulence.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Buckle up.
So, where do we start, Beau? What's the first thing we want to ask this guy?
I want to ask Vita about the Germany trip because we FaceTimed a little bit last week, V, and because I was just curious about that, and we did, we talked about the Germany trip in Vegas a little bit, or the Germany game. So I want to ask you what you thought of the stadium. It looked pretty electric. Saw, the fans singing. They were drinking out of like glass beer steins, which was pretty sick. Just kind of wondering what you thought of the trip overall and if it was a pretty cool experience.
To me, it was a good experience. I think I had a better trip to Germany than when we went to London a few years back. It was fun. I got out. We got to explore.
Nice.
Ended up having a beer. It was like one in Rome. It's like a one in Rome moment. Have a beer.
You have to, right?
But the stadium was pretty dope. It was pretty sick when they started playing like the music and the whole stadium was just singing. I'm sure you guys saw it. The NFL has been posting it, but
I saw Sweet Caroline.
Country
sounded
Road,
pretty good.
Country
Roads.
Yeah, Country Road was pretty sick. I think the only bad part was the field. I think the soccer players, they love the field to be like real slick because the ball slides a little faster and easier for them. So, for us, it was trash. Like the field was like we were just slipping everywhere. During pregame warm up, we were doing like a reach drill. And I came to get off, and I fell straight on my face. Messed my mind up for the whole game. Like the whole time during pregame warm up, I'm thinking, I was like, dang, if I slip and fall, that's a big ass gap.
Hey, I don't think that soccer field has never seen somebody of your size on it, Vita. So, shit.
No,
man.
you know what's funny? It's so true. When we went to London and played, the first thing we noticed, and we were asking questions about it, was we were like, why does the grass feel different? I can't put my finger on why it's so different. It's kind of like it's like short and the grass is moist. Like they keep.
It's not that Bermuda.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like that dry Bermuda. And it's because they like that soccer ball to just skip over the top of it, evidently. But I mean, you definitely notice as a big guy. And then the whole question is usually, you can't get these DBs to wear the right cleats because they got to be swaggy out there and they got to have their little. You know what I mean?
The funny thing was right when we came off the field after for pregame warm up, I see everybody walking down the hallway, and I was like, "Where's everybody going? The locker's right here." And someone turned around, was like, "They're all going to get 7 studs."
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get those 7.
It's bad if the DBs are going to get 7 studs. So, yeah, good job staying off the ground, my guy. And
I think Al Woods is bigger than me.
Oh yeah.
I seen him out there.
Al Woods is a big boy. Yeah,
I seen him out there. I looked at our straight coach. I was
boy.
like, I think he's a little bigger than me.
That's a big cap. Yeah. That's a big cap for sure.
Vita, you talked a little bit about that London trip, dude. That food that we had in London was horrible. I'll never forget that. Like around the hotel, like we went out to eat at like a nice spot.
Where did we go? Like, what was it called? The O3 or whatever? O2?
Yeah, it was like that big hub of, I don't even remember, dude. That trip was a blur. You know, we're in the air for like 8 hours and then on the ground for like 12. And remember, we flew overnight, then we went right into the walk through the next day practice. We're like, what the fuck are we doing? But you said you got to get out a little bit in Germany, have a beer. How's the food? Any good?
We really didn't get to eat much. We were like, the guys I was with, they wanted to go shopping. So I was I was just going around with them, hanging out. Got a couple of cigars that we got to bring back from there.
There you go.
What's it called? We walked past the art store. We walked in. Nacho wanted to go in. We went in. We went in. He was like, "What are we doing in here?" It was a funny thing. I ended up buying some art. I found some.
What'd you get, dude? That German art.
I asked the lady. I was like, "You guys ship?" And she was like, "Yeah, we'll ship it." And I was like, "All right, this piece of art looks pretty dope. Let me get it." And then
you gotta send me a picture of that when you get it in.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture.
That shit's gonna get stuck in customs, bro.
She was writing down the price for like shipping, and like I don't know like German math or whatever. But the way she wrote it down, she wrote 300,000 on the paper. I was like,
the fucking German math, man.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, for shipping? And she was like, no, 300. I was like, $300, and she's like, yeah. I was like, all right, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, dude, they
got that international
art, tricky out there, dude. What can you say about Devin White, man? We were talking a lot about him. Just how fast he plays, sideline to sideline. It's got to be something to see him in person running and hitting. I mean, it's so fun to watch on TV, and I know he had to go through a lot last week. I mean, I heard he found out about the passing of his dad, getting on the plane to go to Germany. That's a lot for a player to do, period, get on the plane and go play in another country. To do that with a heavy heart and to play the way he did, were you surprised by that?
Definitely. Like when we seen him, we thought. I think a few of us found out early. But obviously we didn't say anything to him. Just wanted to give him his space. But I think the way he carried himself as in a way like as nothing happened. But he was strong about it. He still went out there and performed to a high level. He still played. He was still the same person that we knew before. Even though that for anybody. In that situation, that'd be hard. I was trying to put myself in his shoes, to see like how I would have reacted. But
I mean, it's impossible. Football's an emotional game, man. We all know that. When you have stuff going on like that off the field, it can be impossible.
But it's amazing though how people do compartmentalize shit. I mean, we are really good at that as players, man, because we've all dealt with things, and just to see him do that. It just impressed me even more about the kid. I call him a kid. He's not a kid, but like the young man. He just plays so fast, and to do that with a heavy heart was pretty remarkable. And you guys in general did a great job on Kenneth Walker, and I wonder what the key to that was and what you saw from him in person, because he's going to be a really good player. He already is.
I think he's a real good running back. I think part of it was the grass. I think if we played here in Tampa, it could have been a different story. But who knows? But I feel like we've been ever since Bo's been here as well. We've been like a top run defense. And I think that has been the biggest thing about us to get back to that, because we've been giving up too many yards in the rush defense. And I feel like we started getting back to that last week and then this week. So you want to say that, but then you also want to say, there's still that bad grass that we played on, so that could have played a factor as well on that.
Grass in Germany was the 12th man.
You think he just couldn't make his cuts and bounce it? Like, how he bounced to the perimeter and he can kind of make those big cuts? Like, do you think it was just he couldn't stick his foot in the ground as well as he might have?
It could have been that, or it could have been it could have been us playing well.
Yeah.
Just like Bo knows our defense, like every gap is accounted for, and I feel like after seeing the film, I feel like we all did a good job of doing that. I felt like what helped was the grass, because we didn't really play vertical. We were playing lateral because we didn't want to slip. So I'd play a shade where normally I'd play vertical and knock the center back, where when I was playing on this past Sunday, I was damn near two-gapping it as a shade because I didn't want to slip and fall.
That's fucking interesting, dude.
That's interesting you say that, Vita, because I don't know if you've seen this, but like there's been a big kind of push through like the NFLPA lately to get rid of turf, and like practice on grass. And the Ray J's grass here in Tampa, the Bucs practice facility is probably some of the best grass, some of the best, most really, really well-maintained grass on a practice field I've ever played on. So it's interesting to hear that, you say that it's such a factor. But, yeah, I mean, like you said, the Bucs defense with Todd Bowles and then Casey Rogers, who's, Vita's D-line coach, who I think one of my favorite coaches I've ever had, one of the best coaches I've ever had. They are 100% committed to stopping the run. I'll never forget when we went to Seattle in 2019, and Chris Carson ripped off that 70-yard run. And then we heard about it. We watched that clip every single week, for the rest of the season because Casey was so mad about it. But yeah, I want to ask a little bit about that. How's it going with Bowles as a head coach, and then Casey kind of stepped into more of a defensive coordinator role because I really love Casey. He is truly one of my favorite coaches that I've been around. I think he's a really good D-line coach.
I think overall it's still the same. Nothing's really changed except for his title. He still coaches the same. It's still the same meeting. When we go to defensive meeting, Bowles still running it. He's still calling the plays. But as far as Coach Casey, I feel like they've given him a bigger role in that department. He definitely gives us with Casey. Like if you're not prepared for the game, then with Casey, then I don't know what to tell you because he definitely
you're going to be the culprit if you're not prepared. You're going to be the culprit.
He literally gives you every information, all the information you need,
right?
From A to Z, from like every personnel group that they run, from formations, from the back set, from the O lineman. I feel like just having him as a coach, like you said, I think he's one of the best coaches I've ever had as a D lineman. Just going out there and be able to, especially now being my fourth year with him, it's like my knowledge for the game is it's crazy. I mean, you were with me in my rookie year, and I came in off of a college mindset. All I knew was two gap.
Well, you don't even know what you don't know when you're a rookie, man. And then later, you wish. I mean, I think every football player has this where later in their career, goddamn, if I could just travel back in time and I knew all this shit now.
But you can't because you're physically shot. Exactly. So you're I'm sitting there in Philly goddamn, I'm so smart right now. It's too bad
you have to later in your career. Yeah, you need all those tools. Whereas earlier in your career, I remember Vita came out I mean, I don't want to get too deep into this, but Vito's on IR, he was injured for the first part of the season or whatever, and then came out against the Bears. I can't even remember, week 5 or 6, had barely practiced and was just fucking mauling dudes, humping people, double arm humps left and right, and throwing dudes around. Just be oh my god, what the fuck?
I think you
is going
texted
on
me
here?
after that. You were yeah, it's not good. This kid's really good. He's really
we're
good.
We're just what the fuck. But yeah, I mean, it is great to see how far you've come along, V. 7 sacks this year.
7 sacks. Those are edge rusher numbers. What the hell's going on down
sacks.
there, dude?
Yeah.
I know. I hit a streak.
All of a sudden.
It's crazy.
That's
I think
something, man.
My season high has been 4. So I think that's a big achievement for me right now.
Do you have an incentive clause for sacks? Do you have an escalator based on no? Because rookie deals, do they not have those incentive clauses?
No.
Damn.
I wish I would have put some in there for it to get a better APY, but I didn't.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
What are you winning with? I saw the inside. I see the you got a cross chop on a 2-eye. You know what I'm talking about? A couple times. I think against the Rams. You know what I'm saying?
I think they had their left guard was out, and then
he was bad.
Yeah, he was good, but it was basically I set it up for it. The whole game I was just bull rushing and then rushing through the B gap, and then I felt it. Well, we got the call. Well, how normally when you get a third down call, you have to stay in your gap because they're blitzed over there. So that was the first call I got all game where like I had a two-way go. So I was like, all right, I've been bull rushing him, working him through the B gap the whole game. So I like widened my alignment. He jumped out to me, and I swam. He thought
right. And then you beat the center too on that too.
He thought he had the center help, but the center was late.
Yeah.
So Vito, I played with Tom. He's cool, man. I think he's really intense, but I think he's a good dude, man. And I've never seen him go through what he's gone through on the field this year. Like it's been a struggle. Like you guys have looked offensively a lot better. I know you're playing defense and that sort of thing. It's not your job to talk about the offense, but what's it like seeing Tom kind of grind through this stuff? Have you learned anything from Tom with how he's handled the adversity, and like have you seen that leadership kind of come to fruition at the midway point of this season? Because it looks like y'all are figuring some things out.
Yeah, he's definitely been. I feel like that's hard for any guy to go through that. So I think he's been handling well. I ran into him one time in the hallway, talked to him about it, and he was in good spirits about it. Even though it's tough for him, but he's doing good. I think another thing that's probably hurting him is like a lot of injuries on the offensive side. A lot of the O-line are down. I'm not saying anything bad about our O-line playing right now. I feel like they're doing a good job, the best they can. But I think it's just the chemistry.
Yeah.
As all three of us know, like the center pretty much runs the everything for the O-line. And I think even talking to Robert Hainsey, the starting center now, he said he's been learning week by week, like different stuff that he didn't know that Tom wanted to do, like calling out the protection. Like he went out there and he told me like he went out there and like said 5-0, 5-0, and then Tom yelled at him like, "Don't fucking call the protection." That's how I got my sack on Lamar Jackson, because they had a rookie center, and then the whole week the game plan was like they're gonna run the shit out of the ball, and I went out there and it was like we're in a bear front. And I got down, was in my two-gap stance. Center came up, lined up. He said 5-0. He was like 5-0, 5-0. I was like, yep, you shouldn't have told me that.
Yeah, then Well, that's the best, man. I want to point this out, Vita. See, you came in with the Zoom tag, the Butter Squire. My guy.
Yeah.
Some things don't change.
Back to our Kahoot days.
Yeah,
exactly. We used to, yeah.
So wait, do you consider Beau the Butter King? Because that's what he calls himself. Is that stolen valor or something, Vita? Like, is he full of shit? Is there another Butter King somewhere?
No, he's always been the Butter King. My rookie year, we used to have this thing called Kahoot, or like it'd be like a game.
It was the dumbest fucking thing in the entire world, but yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it was dumb. It was dumb. Like everybody on defense would log in, and you do like a test, and it was like the dumbest defensive test ever to like whatever. And Beau will always win, but it never said Beau Allen. It always said the Butter King. And every day,
the first couple times, everyone's like, "Who the fuck is the Butter King?" They're like, "Yeah, I'm the fucking. That's me, boy."
Beau kept winning, and everybody else kept like typing up Butter King because Beau kept winning. So like, "Oh yeah, it was me this week," and then I started doing it and put like the Butter Squire, because it got to a point where people were just cheating. Like one person.
Like Kahoot, imagine Kahoot got big in like people were doing like high schools and shit, and our D coordinator Mike Smith. It's like a little trivia thing that you can do where like they'll be like, if you're the 5 technique and under, and the tight end gets up and like shit like that, and you have to like answer, you know what I mean? Like, but they'll show like an offensive play, and it'll be like 3 seconds long, and then you only get to see it once. And you'd like, what play is this?
You'd have to decipher the whole thing.
Yeah, well, they give you like I don't know, like some personnel stuff, but it's like imagine like JPP doing Kahoot.
I got a question. Because you're so unique, man. There's like nobody like you. I mean that as a compliment.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I know that part of watching film is you want to watch people that you can take things from. And then you can be like, yeah, I can model my game after this guy, or like, but you're so unique. It's I would imagine you're kind of like, well, who's my comp? Like, what do you watch? You watch other guys. Who do you like to watch? You know, like, are there guys that you can take things from?
Normally, what I like to do is I like to watch the pressures on O-linemen, especially on centers and guards. And if there's a move that I see like a guy went on, and if I keep seeing them getting beat by that move, then I know that's like that center. He's like, all right, I'm really good at this move.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can't handle the power or he can't handle the hump. Like this past week in London or in Germany, Grady Jarrett, he ran like a clip stunt where he went from one A gap to the other A gap and got a sack. And there was a play where I was the guy in the boundary A, and the start of the play I had to go to the opposite A. And I was like, all right, this is where I'm going to beat him. And I thought I beat him, and the guard came back. So it was like different stuff like that that I feel like I've went to. Obviously, there's also like guys that I watch like Haloti.
Haloti.
Yeah, that's one. I mean, I remember mentioning that to you. You know, your rookie year, Vita, because I'll never remember. That's when Aaron Donald was popping off, and Buck, our D-line coach at the time, Brenson Buckner. Our defense was in bad shape that year. Okay, that was 2018. We had a super injured defense. Blah blah blah. But like Buck puts up all these clips of like Aaron Donald like beating the fuck out of guys, like winning with like these ridiculous moves, these swipes. And he's like looking at me, and he's like, "Why aren't you doing this? Like, you should be doing this. Why aren't you doing this, Bo?" And I'm like, the fuck,
look at
man?
Me,
like,
man.
First of all, look at me, bro. Like, what?
Yeah.
Casey did that this past year. We were watching like this sack reel, and I forgot who we were playing, and it was like AD was killing the guard, and he was like, he was like, look at this guy beating him with power. How much did you weigh? Like 270? And we were all like got quiet, and we were all like looking at each other. It was
like this is the biggest freak in nature, and like
he really might weigh 270 though. Honestly, I want to say this. Like one time, I said on the pod that Aaron Donald was like 300 pounds or something because I was saying like he's jacked. I mean, he's jacked no matter how much he weighs. Like he's got abs on top of abs. And when he was in St. Louis, he wasn't that trim. He texted me. He's like, "Bro, I'm like 270." So like,
wow,
it is.
He's listening to everything.
Well, no, we put it out on social, and he was laughing. He was like, "Bro, you're giving me too much credit." You know, which is crazy to me that somebody that light plays with that much power. But he's literally made of something else.
I know, it was crazy. So when we played them 2 weeks ago, it was just wild. It was like wild watching him play.
Yeah.
It was like it forced Tom to like quick pass every check down.
You always got to know where he's at.
And it was crazy. Just he literally went down the line and won every single rep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And he's so frantic. He's so frantic.
And it was funny. Leonard Fournette was telling us like he was talking so much shit during the game. He said like he said one thing to one of the old linemen. He was like, "How much they fucking pay you?" He was like, "They should pay me that." And he got a fucking sack after he said that.
No, he did not.
I bet you it was Donovan.
No, he did not, bro. That's amazing. I love hearing AD.
Amazing.
AD, because when he was a rookie, he wasn't talking that kind of shit. He was talking shit, but he wasn't talking that kind of shit. So it's good to hear Aaron knows his worth.
I don't want to know where these celebrations are coming from lately, because that's a new thing, man. The swim, the belly flop, and the swim.
Oh, the lawnmower.
That was fucking funny. The lawnmower killed me. I was saying, we got to get you a lawnmower deal.
It was Pat's dad. Pat's dad, like, Pat's dad hit me up because, so Pat, funny story, Pat told me, like, his dad, Pat's from Chicago.
He's talking about Pat O'Connor as a defensive lineman for the Bucs.
Yeah, so his dad lives out there in Chicago. And basically, on their free time, Pat told me that him and his dad's friends, they get shit-faced at night on the day off, and they wake up the next morning and go to, like, different, like, whatever, like, yard sales and buy, like, lawnmowers and try to fix them all day. He said they're just getting shit-faced all day, fixing lawnmowers and trying to resell them. And then Pat's dad called me one day. Pat's dad called me one day, and he was like, "Hey, if you get a sack today, do the lawnmower."
The funniest part, though, is like you do the lawnmower, and then like you're like running with it or walking with it, and then you start just sprinting to the sideline.
Because I looked. So we were in for like a long. It was a long series. Then I ended up getting a sack, and it ended up being like 3rd and long. I looked to the sideline, and I seen 2 dudes subbing in. Like they were signaling nickel, and I was like, "Oh shit,
gotta go!"
Turn that speed on that lawnmower up.
Yeah, we need to get you. Can you do a ride-on lawnmower? I don't know how you would do this, but you've been doing the push. I wonder how you could do a ride-on. That'd be something else. If you figure that out, you got
to find a ride-on with a. They might have weight limits on those bad boys, dude.
No, I've seen some solidly built ride-ons, and honestly, what Bo said is true. You need an endorsement. With like John Deere or something.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, we'll see what we can
make
do.
A little mock-up on
see what we can do.
That'd be hilarious.
So,
and then the swimming thing came from whenever the defense. You know how defenses like to have different celebrations. Every time the defense got a celebration or a turnover, everybody would run to the end zone and start rowing the boat.
Yeah.
So to line up one behind each other and row the boat. And then one game, I just ran up to the boat and acted like I was swimming, like right beside it. And then that's where it started from. Foot, Coach Larry Foote, he yelled at me he yelled at me one game because I got a sack. I didn't celebrate, and he was like, Vita, he's like, we need that fucking energy. He said, you know, you start swimming again. And I was like, all right.
See, that's what people don't realize, man. Is like you got this room of D linemen. Who is like, you know, great athletes, like big, scary motherfuckers. But actually, it's just a bunch of children, man.
It's a child care. It's like a
children playing a game.
It's a daycare center. D-line coaches are like daycare center people, bro.
I feel like D-linemen across the league are just the class clowns of the team.
Totally, man. When we were in St. Louis, we used to lay on the ground and watch film. Like our coach would let us lay on the ground. He would let guys be on their cell phones from time to time. Yeah, bro. It was like a totally different. It was a different.
One of our DNs, Will Ghostin, him and Bo used to sit next to each other on the plane, and and Will was lactose intolerant. Bo woke up and looked at Will and seen him eating like a ham and cheese sandwich or whatever, and all you hear is just Bo. Will, did you just fucking eat cheese?
Get that shit out of here, bro.
Chris, we're flying to LA. And the whole time Bo he's just lining them up. And then on the way back, everybody's trying to sleep on the way back. And like Bo had extra headphones for Will, but Will didn't want them. He was just being a dick about it. He was watching this comedy show on his phone full blast and was just obnoxiously like every time something funny happened, he was just
laughing so hard. I'm just looking over him.
You hear Bo wake up. Bo was like, Will, I got fucking headphones for you.
And the DBs want to say something, but they're worried about pissing y'all off. Can y'all shut the fuck up back there?
No, but a D-line room is really like a fucking.
We run the building, but we run the building. We're a bunch of kids, but we run the building.
And you know, if no one in that, if like there's one guy in that room that's unhappy about something, you know, like towards something else in the building, like everyone else is gonna hop on board.
Hey, we love to complain. We love to bitch about stuff. We love to, you know, you get it all in a D-line room. So Vita, thanks for the time, brother.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate you.
I really appreciate it. Hope you come on again, man. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yes, sir.
Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.